Okay, guys, welcome back to my channel. And today I have Josh. Josh is one of the strongest Manchester United fans I know. You know, he's ready to start. He gets so emotional, about the club, and I'm like, oh my god. And then he's also a practicing lawyer in the US, so he is the right person to answer this question I'm about to ask. Because he knows what truth is, regardless of whatever affiliations. So, Josh, I want to ask about the Ronaldo saga thing. Remember, we made a video.
Mhm.
I asked you when Ronaldo came if his joining Manchester United again was going to help or ruin the club. I don't want to go into that. I have the video already on my channel. So, we saw what happened the Tottenham match when he left before full time. The coach left him out of the squad that faced Chelsea this weekend. So some people are like, he did the right thing. And some people are like, no, the humiliation, the frustration. I understand, but then I felt what Ronaldo did was not the right thing. So I want to hear from you. All the things that happened, what do you have to say?
All right. Well, thank you for having me, Lady Vieira. I think, I mean, you've said it well in your question, and I'm going to try to unravel. I have a lot on my mind, so I'm privileged, and I appreciate you having me on here to talk about it. I've actually been discussing this for the past few days now with my friends. Opinions are divided. Opinions are
Yeah.
divided on this issue. Before I go straight into or delve more in depth into my what my response would be to your question, I think I saw a couple excerpts or posts on one of my social media groups showing that Ronaldo had actually done that before, like maybe in Juventus.
Yeah. The Rayo Vallecano match
Right,
where he walked out. Yeah.
right, right. Because, and I say that to begin with because it always comes from the onset of professionalism. I watched this heated debate between Gary Neville and Roy Keane about and opinions were divided on there as well
Yeah.
about professionalism. People always talk about how Ronaldo is always the astute professional. He's always carried himself in the right manner. He's always done what is right for himself, physically, for his own health and physiology, always also as well as mentally. And we could argue all we want, but I think to an extent, to a very large, considerable extent, that's correct. But putting in mind if it's true, it's done this before, which I think it probably is. Also, just in recent times, how Cristiano Ronaldo has been behaving, it certainly questions the professionalism that Ronaldo has been well touted for. My stance is this: look, I'm a huge Ronaldo lover. It's always we were living in the era of Ronaldo and Messi. Probably now with this Gen Z and in the next few years, it's gonna be
Yeah.
Mbappe and Haaland. But it's always been Ronaldo, Messi, and even before when I was in Nigeria, many years, almost 10, 12 years ago, it's always been that heated debate, Ronaldo, Messi. I've always been a huge Ronaldo fan. I'm always on the Ronaldo bandwagon. I gave this response on one of the groups that I'm on social media on WhatsApp, and because people were coming about how Manchester United fans are deluded, and perhaps it was almost a case of maybe they're just Ronaldo fans rather than United fans. And I'll tell you what I think. As much as I love Ronaldo, as much as love Ronaldo, which hurts me
With
to
your
say,
blood.
which hurts me to say, I'm really disappointed in Cristiano Ronaldo, especially in how things culminated in that Spurs match. If you remember, I think it was almost a case of initially it was a case of he walked what we thought was he walked out before the match ended. The next day, it came to our knowledge that it wasn't just so much him walking out, but he had actually refused to be subbed in. And I remember before it got
Yeah.
verified, I was arguing and saying, well, Talkspot, I think it was Talkspot's news in the UK. I was like, well, they wanted to sell papers. Of course, they want to sell their articles and news. It's probably not true. But then we heard, I heard Erik Ten Hag's pre-match interview,
Yes.
and
Okay.
he confirmed that Ronaldo actually did refuse to be subbed in. We also saw Ronaldo's what I call half-hearted apology in his Twitter or Instagram post.
That post exactly.
Yeah,
Someone was like, there was nowhere he said, "I am sorry."
nope, not at all. And again, Ronaldo is a big enigma. You know, he's with all he's achieved and what he is. I think it was almost a case of those who felt that Ronaldo was being humiliated. Like I said, well, the club is always bigger than the person, and people throw banters and they say, well, Ronaldo has more Champions League than the whole Manchester United put together. But it's a rather myopic way of looking at it. Manchester United has always been there before Ronaldo ever was. Manchester United would always be there even after Ronaldo ceased to be. And professionalism goes hand in hand with how you carry yourself. Is a United player when I say we, well, the club, we pays salary. No matter how people want to say, it's a symbiotic relationship in the sense that we made him sign 1 extra year because of the shirt sales, and also because he's a superstar. I mean, the amount of goals he scored for us last season, it
Yeah.
literally helped us to the position, a decent position that we ended last season. So it's symbiotic. His shirt sales brings in the revenue, but we also made him who he is. If the coach, for example, decides not to play until the World Cup starts uh, at the end of the year, how does that affect his fitness? People actually say that part of the reason why he hasn't really been bang on good this season might be because he's not as fit. Because remember, he missed the preseason at the start of
Yeah.
this season. But I think Ronaldo hasn't carried himself well, to be honest, and I'm really very disappointed. I thought better of him. While nobody would expect him to be happy and comfortable with sitting on the bench, if he feels that he still has more to offer, if he feels that he's fit enough, he's thinking about the World Cup, a whole superstar. Why would I be sat on the bench? That's not the way to go about it.
Warming up, additional time and all.
Right. That's not the way to go about it. If the coach tells you to come in 87th minute, so people say it's a humiliation. Why would the coach want to bring him in while we're winning 2-0? I think it was 2-0. Why would you want
Yeah.
to bring him in? But I don't see it that way. Because we're trying to, if it's from the perspective of trying to get him to be fit, then he needs game time. If it's from the perspective of, hey, I don't want to sit without playing a match, then the coach thinks, even if it's 5 more minutes, let's put him in so he can at least kick the ball. And even if it's just to whatever, what you're playing for the team, it's demoralizing when the other boys see you behaving the way you are. I mean, you're Ronaldo. Whatever you say or do has an influence on the rest of the squad. So I think Ten Hag's decision, I fully back it, and I like the way the club came out and backed the manager's decision. I think Ronaldo is way well over his head for acting the way he did. Like I said, he did make or offer a half-hearted apology that was just BS. Whoever the PR team that put up that thing, I don't know what they were thinking. But I don't agree with it, and I don't think it's going to live in January. By the way, people are saying, well, if it's not going to work, everybody can go their own way. I really don't think it's going to live in January. There's the World Cup. Who's coming for him? And what I said to my friends who say you should have let him leave was, yes, initially we said we weren't going to sell him. Ten Hag said Ronaldo wasn't for sale in the summer, in July into August or June or whatever. But towards the end of the transfer market, I don't know if you remember, we were actually open to selling him. If we got a good bid that came in, we might have we might have let him go. But I think clubs in Russia or China or whatever were coming for him. So he stayed because he had the option to renew. But the way he's carried himself, and also just from the perspective of the team itself, maybe I'm not so much on the bandwagon of the team is better without Ronaldo in it, because I feel like the onus is on the manager to find a way to put in a player that won us many matches and gave us so many goals. I mean, it was just last season. I agree. So I'm not far extreme into saying, oh, Ronaldo is finished, he's useless. To hell with him. We don't need him. The team is better without him. Um, from what we see, performance wise, result wise, we're doing okay. I just don't want to say we're doing okay without him. Why don't we just say we're doing okay? Period. If it's there, we probably still do okay. If it's not there, we're still doing okay. We're doing better now. I mean, I think Ten Hag is really doing well with that team right now, with or without Ronaldo. The point I feel is if Ronaldo was in there, we still do well. The manager has to find a way to put him into the system, but maybe that takes time. Because remember,
Yeah.
the first few matches where Ronaldo played, we got battered by Brighton and by Brentford in the beginning of the season. Ronaldo was in there, and then we've seen, there was a Champions League match we played not too long ago where it almost seemed like a case of every single player in the team was trying to force Ronaldo to score a goal. It was a Champions League match. And I was like, well, I'm Nigerian originally. I'm like, this might be juju or something. Ronaldo just couldn't find the back of the net, you know? So we're forcing the issue. He's a superstar. The truth is, as much as I love Ronaldo, and I was looking forward to maybe even one more year. Hey, I was dreaming about maybe he could even retire at United. But I'll be honest and open to saying right now that it's getting a little very toxic to the point where I don't think he leaves in January, but yeah, I don't think it stays further than this August or this summer, next year summer. That is, I don't think he goes past this season. He has to go wherever he goes. I wish him luck. I would always still be a fan, but I feel quite a little bit let down by the way he's acted.
I was actually going to ask, what do you think is the solution? You mentioned letting him go, because are we going to allow Ronaldo do his bidding or let Ten Hag do his job? Because he's trying to build the team. It's obvious he doesn't even know his starting 11 yet. We'll see. Definitely, like you said, it's getting toxic. So we expect more or even worse to happen going further. So what do you think it's the best way to handle this going
I
forward?
I hope I hope the toxicity doesn't brew any worse than this. I hope Ronaldo can, you know, get his head together and behave in the way. I mean, we just celebrated 700 goals that he scored. So
Yeah.
Alex Ferguson was giving him a plaque. People, his teammates took pictures with him. So I hope he can be the consummate professional that we know he can be, and act, just for the next few months. Do what the coach tells you. I mean, even if he's not so much older than you, even if you're way richer, way much of a global superstar than Ten Hag would probably ever be, he's still your manager, and he's the manager for a reason. So
Sure.
I hope it doesn't get any worse, and I really think he shouldn't. Yeah, because I mean, Ronaldo cannot force my hand more than he already has. If he forced my hand even more, man, I don't know. I really love Ronaldo, so I felt really, really disappointed. Having said that, um, the club has put themselves in a position where they've shown that they're going to be backing the manager, and that's how I think it has to continue. I do disagree with you a little bit about the manager not knowing his first 11. I think it's getting to the point now where, well, maybe at least he knows his first eight or maybe his first seven. I totally respect and love Ten Hag because not many managers will be able to stand up to not only
Yeah.
putting Ronaldo on the
Yeah.
bench, but telling him to go train with the reserves and then without being injured, get him out of the match against Chelsea. And hey, I was
Yeah.
happy that we're at least because sometimes, let's say we lost that sports match, the Ronaldo fans, the Ronaldo bandwagon, including me, would be saying, well, if Ronaldo had played, yada, 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 yada. Well, he didn't play, we won. Chelsea, we played them well. We should have won that game if it wasn't for Scott that was being an idiot. But thank God we got a draw out of it because should Chelsea have won that match 1-0 undeservedly, but I would say, um, people would say, well, if he hadn't put Ronaldo,
Ronaldo fans, they are actually rooting for Chelsea to
well,
win so
yeah,
they can get back and prove a needless point.
yeah, exactly. Which is sad because at the end of the day, as much as I love Ronaldo, I love United more. That's just the truth. So if you're really a United fan, it's okay to be Ronaldo to be on the Ronaldo bandwagon. But if you're being realistic, and logical, the club is who is what you support, not Ronaldo. Because Ronaldo was in Real Madrid. Ronaldo did more exploits in Real Madrid than he did for us. I mean, he was our boy. We love him. He came back, but we wouldn't. I don't think I want Ronaldo to come in here and then there's progress in the team. Ronaldo cannot, cause retrogression and make those little progress to now become stale or. So I think um, the club has to back the manager and the manager has to continue to be firm.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. You've heard from a Ronaldo fan and a Manchester United
I'm a
fan.
huge Ronaldo fan, but we have to be objective. We have to be realistic. People say things like, a whole Ronaldo. How does the coach sit him down? That's humiliating. Even if he was going to bring him 87 minutes. Ronaldo is a
Yeah.
player for the club. There will be times when he's going to be sacked down. It's not the same Ronaldo of 4 years ago. And believe it or not, it's 37 going on 38. It's about less than 2 years short of 40 years old, So I can almost certainly expect Ronaldo should know that he's not going to play all 90 minutes of every freaking game. There will be times when he's going to have to sit on the bench. There will be times when he's going to have to come on as a sub. How he carries himself going forward, is left to be seen. But I think and I hope that he behaves himself properly going forward.
I saw someone say something about Rashford, Ronaldo being better than Rashford in some games. Rashford is nowhere to be found. He doesn't really play. So what's the point of the coach benching Ronaldo when he's better than
So,
Rashford that
so
he's
the
given?
so there's the way the coach likes to press the three forwards, the prongs. I call them the attacking prongs. Ronaldo has never been a pressing player, but Ronaldo is still we know what made Ronaldo what he is today. He's just so good at finishing. I think the match against Chelsea. So whoever told you that wasn't wrong. Rashford, I keep saying, he's not a striker. Rashford is just not a striker. Martial is a better striker. Anthony Martial is a better striker. The game against Chelsea, when Rashford tried to chip um Kepa, the Chelsea goalie, he
Yeah.
couldn't get it done. I think he had another shot on goal. Rashford would always get the occasional, goals. But if Ronaldo had played that match, perhaps we might have scored maybe one or two more. But I don't think it's a full argument to then say Ronaldo has to start every match. Look, I'm not saying Ronaldo shouldn't play. I'm not saying Rashford is better than Ronaldo now. Ronaldo is still better, way better than Rashford. But the manager is the manager for a reason. We gotta back this manager. We have to see what he's doing with the team. We have to get behind him. And if he's saying in a match, okay, for this particular match, I'm not gonna start Ronaldo, even if it's for 10 matches, and we're beginning to see a trend where he doesn't play Ronaldo in the beginning of the matches in Premier League, maybe, and he's just wanting to play him in Champions League, in Europa League. See, I don't even know the name of that competition. Yeah, so we should be in Champions League. If we're seeing a trend where he just plays him in Premier League, well, we gotta back him. We gotta support him. And then if he brings him on, uh, Ronaldo has to come in, do his part. If we win, the team wins. If we lose, the team loses. I think maybe a stretch of the division was also because of how late into the game that Ronaldo was being sought to be brought in. And then people were like, hey, oh, Ronaldo, how do you bring him on 88 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, well, let's say that Ronaldo was let's how do I say it? Let's say that wasn't even a case of whether the coach was about to bring Ronaldo in 88 minutes. Let's say that it's just the situation that we saw on camera while it was being broadcast on that match day, where Ronaldo stomped away before the match ended. That in and of itself is wrong. And then come to find out later that he actually was asked to come in and then he refused. And I don't really agree with, okay, a whole superstar, how do you come in 88 minutes? He's part of the team. If he's needed, he has to play his part. So I love Ronaldo to death, but I will be objective and I'll be honest in my analysis.
All right. Thank you so much. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, guys, you've heard from a die-hard Ronaldo and Manchester United fan. I just hope Manchester United, Erik Ten Hag, and Ronaldo are able to manage the situation so it doesn't really get worse going forward. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share your comments, feedbacks, and support my channel. See you next time. Bye.